What is going on, everybody? Live on TikTok and on YouTube. So just kind of bouncing back and forth here, trying to get set up. I thought I had a little camera on where you can see me on TikTok, but it looks like I might have deleted it. So boomer moment there. Bart Moshi, what's going on? Peachy, how are you? Yeah, I figured we could all just kind of kick it for some FOMC meeting here and see how the price action kind of unfolds here. Pretty much been trending sideways over the last few days in anticipation for any kind of volatility to kind of happen today. Very nice, clean, small term trades going on as far as intraday would go. You had yesterday's previous day high get swept back down to the lower range, just did the same thing again. Really looking to see if we reclaim this previous week low after coming into our quarterly target, right? So our statistical target was met. Nice SFP into it. We met this over the weekend, I believe. No, this was Monday. So right as we opened up the week, took that the next day. Shout out to Max in the group for calling that out very well based on order flow and open interest live during Monday. And ever since, we've just been basically waiting for today. So where are we at? Opened up the day at about 29,220. Trying to get a little music going on one side. All kinds of wild stuff going on today. And we're just trying to see if we can get back in to last week's region here, right? So looking to see if we claim that previous week low, and then looking to take it up, honestly, to potentially last week's point of control. We've got the week open all the way back at 30,056, right? So that's where we opened up on Monday, technically Sunday night. Haven't been back there in the whole week so far. So we've got our previous week high. And then one level of interest to me is the untapped weekly pivot from, I think it was 2 weeks ago, actually, at this point, which is up at 30,673. This is also where the overall gold pocket is from our current high of about 32K, just about, right? Drag a little fibs into that play, trying to make sure TikTok can see this okay as well. But this is an interesting area to me. So if we get that high, right, and then essentially we would have played a really nice range rotation here of, as well as taking out the previous week low, potentially taking out previous week high, running into, a traditional retracement level here, as well as a statistical measure as well, and see if we come back into the previous week high. All that is to be seen, right? Yet to be seen, I suppose. So really see how things kind of progress. Losing the daily open and the previous week low at this point, would probably not look too well. And then we'd look to that quarterly pivot as pretty much our little last line in the sand. At that point, I would imagine we're probably heading down to like 28K. So it's pretty much the setup at the moment, right? But yeah, I really do like this region, that 30,007, 30,008, 30,006. Things start kind of getting gassed up here for Bitcoin. Well, we shall see. Should probably label what this is on TikTok so everybody knows, huh? Take a look at Ethereum here too. Might as well take a look at XRP and some Dogecoin. What's up over here on TikTok? Anybody doing anything? Anything fun? XPIM3D IO. I have a feeling that is not a real account. So yeah, this is completely blind to the FOMC, right? Because in my opinion, the news really doesn't matter. So this is the trade setups as we would take them normally, right? So at the moment, we are in a decent position here as you've back tested your daily open, living above your VWAP back in the previous week low. You do have to be aware we did come through and just basically sweep the highs here. So that is something to take note of. However, at the moment, living above previous week low and daily open, one would imagine we'd probably make our track up to at least that value area low at 29,700. Unless we start losing those two. So that is the idea, regardless of news. Let's take a peek at Ethereum. Right. So very similar situation here, right? I got the previous day range actually pulled up here. And, generally when you see something like this, we just took the previous day high with some pretty good aggression there. In theory, close back below, look for the back test, which we potentially are getting right now. And you'd look to actually run this all the way back down to the previous day low with obviously some take profits along the way. Big one would be back down to the daily open and the previous day point of control as they're very close to each other within reason here. You got your VWAP here as well. But yeah, we'll see how this goes here with Bitcoin as well. So level for Ethereum at the moment you want to see starting to live above is 1868. After that, we've got our week open. Unlike Bitcoin from afar, we've actually had a really nice move here out of Ethereum, right? So very similar to Bitcoin in the week. Started off our week, made our Saturday low, which was our previous week low at the time. Monday, start off the week, sweep the previous week low, get the reclaim. So that's essentially what we're looking for right now out of Bitcoin. We've pretty much had this out of Ethereum for the whole week so far. Daily open, VWAP, back test, and essentially we're making our trek up to potentially that previous week val up here. Not to overlook that previous day high at 1868, and then we're looking to take it up into these areas here. Overall previous week highs, another target to look for. If we continue onward and upward, about 1934. And then a big area I'm looking for, and this would be pretty much hand in hand with the idea if Bitcoin pulls it up to that gold pocket, that we'd see, essentially the same thing out of Ethereum. And that would be ideally the next area for a potential short, assuming that everything just kind of follows up. But at the moment, the setup for the short is there since we just took the previous day high pretty well. The only thing in question at the moment is Bitcoin. Really not seeing too much gas right here, right? Just taking a peek over at Doge. We're kind of scoping out some things here. Doge re-entered a high time frame range here that we were looking at from last quarter. Had a really nice reclaim back test of support right here. Next target naturally would be our point of control. Kind of living in that region right now, and for me, it's a little tough to kind of get into a position here. And these are the altcoin setups that I'm looking at right now. Mind you that these are all not leveraged positions that I would be taking personally. This is more of a spot trade, but I'm looking to see if we can rotate this range actually all the way up back to the weekly up here, which is also the value area high. So your range high comes in this region. Then we've got the untapped yearly pivot, which is a pretty big target to the upside here, and it's not too far away at this point. Would be an interesting move. I'm sure that news about Elon Musk would coincide with that if it was to go down. So looking to see if we hold this previous week low and take it up into this value area low. Losing the daily open, VWAP, previous week low on this region would not look great short term. Yeah, see, this would have been a good short right here. Previous day high, right back down once again. TP1, previous day value area high, stop loss break even. TP2 would be your day open and your VWAP, potentially your point of control, value area low. See if you get a bounce out of here, but yeah, that was a really swift move up there. XRP, you can see a little better on YouTube. I'm really just looking for a few simple areas, really. Everybody's targeting back down like 55 cents, and I think there's definitely a case to be made there. Obviously, that was a major quarterly level as we came up. Right now, this was a big zone we looked at for several months, and right here, you can see on TikTok, this is our quarterly low, broke through, wick through, wick through, wick through, wick through, finally broke. Coming back and back testing that, would be definitely in the cards. On top of that, we had huge, fast move up, right? So a lot of times what you get is fast move up, fast move down. One thing for me is I feel like everybody's shorting XRP, or have been trying to, every step of the way right here. And just the setup at hand is just, if I wasn't in and I'm not in a short, just a full disclosure there. What we had here. I was looking for a position to short specifically, I guess. I think that next opportunity doesn't come until about $1. You got a nice little pocket region up in this region, as well as the yearly pivot. Not to mention, if we were to see a decent move, and probably this kind of price action would be in line with more like Bitcoin pushing up to that gold pocket I just outlined at like 30,000. Like 600 and stuff like that, and then Ethereum pushing up to that gold pocket as well at like 1960. Altcoins would probably get a nice little green day or two. But this high right here, right? You'd want to see like everybody that's taking shorts, if there even is a stop loss in play, which this is such a wide range. This is like 15% from just even this high, so it makes for a really lengthy stop loss if you're anybody's even using one. So as far as a liquidation would go, running it back up, taking this high, hitting a statistical target for the year, macro gold pocket, and then potentially doing even something along the line of this, come back down, start closing below. That would be where I'd look for the short, and then vice versa. It's one of those things where you kind of have to prepare for both situations here, because pushing up and living above that year pivot is the line in the sand for upside. It's right at $1 as well. So how everybody gets wrapped up around nice round numbers. Chainlink has been the range of the year. Kind of scooting through this for TikTok a little bit, but I mean, the most range bound you could be, for a solid year. And it's not a small range by any means. It's like 80%, waves. One thing I, wanted to note here though, is we did do something pretty bullish overall as far as all this price action would go. And we came down and we swept the lows, right? So we took out all the stops for anybody that was in long positions potentially, or even, stopped out even spot positions or stuff, scared people out of the market and had them get back in. And re-entered the range, rotated it, right? So all your highs are still in place. There's an untapped quarterly pivot. So this is a high time frame average price for a quarter last year. It's really not a huge deal necessarily, but it's definitely offers up a pit stop target along the way. Something like that would definitely clear out all the highs, and then potentially even a move back down to the value area low high would be something to look for. But ultimately, I'm looking for a $13 chain link, and potentially by the end of this year at some point. So how we get there is the question. And right now, we've done something that is just range bound, and we just rotated the range once again. Unfortunately, from the low to high, the gold pocket, right, the traditional area of retracement comes right at the range low once again. So in theory, getting a rejection from this region, point of control is your next stop, and then technically come all the way down here. So we'd really want to see this start living back above 1766, which is just about where we are now. Alado, how you doing, my friend? Major quarterly level as well, very similar to XRP. And a range like this, when this does resolve, I mean, you're probably going to get an XRP type of reaction. This is very similar to what XRP just dealt with itself, right? We had all those quarterly candles coming in, and you got that one explosive move, and it was about 100%, right? And I don't throw 100% out there like it just has to run 100%, but this is a 100% move just about, and it comes in right at our right at the target that I've been looking for. So quarter 321 low, little pocket, yearly pivot. This would be the equivalent of the XRP pump, right? Not bad. How about you? Doing good, man. I was hoping to get some more fireworks at this meeting, I guess. I'm not watching the meeting, to be fair, so there's that. The 4-hour time frame, by the way. So just kind of looking at this as well. I've been looking at everything kind of on a smaller time frame with you all here, just it's easier to kind of break it down. But yeah, you can see even just since was it Monday, not a huge length of time here, but haven't even closed a 4-hour candle back above this previous week low, right? Except for the last one we did here. Next one closes here in about an hour and a half. So it'll be interesting to see if we close it above this 2269 area and get that push up, right? So what's the news? Anybody hear it? We're getting another 2% interest rate hike this year. What do you do for work, Alato? I don't know if you've ever told us. Coin Bink. Scam dumping coming, huh? Long from 1763, but won't short to the target. I will be upfront with you. I mean, I'm in agreement with you, as the next targets for me are literally down in that region. 1720 to 1758 would be the next downside area, the next bounce opportunity, I guess you'd say. However, I feel like we have the opportunity to come in and put in a little bit of a more of a lower high. I'm sorry, yeah, lower high from that peak, right? So it doesn't have to happen, of course, but I'd love to push up into this gold pocket region or this previous week high. Even if we front ran, right, that previous week, we front ran the gold pocket and just kind of swept the previous week high, came back in, got that back test. I mean, that would be an area to consider a short as well. Yeah, I'm looking at the moment, and the big line in the sand for things to change would be clearing and starting to live above that yearly pivot. It's been the yearly pivot all year for Ethereum. Unlike Bitcoin, Ethereum has been below that all ever since we ran into it. Bitcoin's yearly pivot's at 26.8 and something like that, and we've been living above that for quite a while. But yeah, so at the moment I'm just anticipating, see how things react when if we come back up into this, previous week range. Technically, we've got a naked point of control here, so that'd be an interesting target. Weekly open is right here as well, so this region not something to be overlooked. But ideally, I'd like to see us come up to like 1930, 1960, have Bitcoin push up to like 30,600 ish. And we can get sometimes one or the other too. Unfortunately, you can get like Bitcoin push up to 30,600, and maybe ETH only pushes up to 1892. It's kind of one of those. It's just like the stock market. You kind of have to pay attention to Bitcoin the whole time. Just like the S&P almost, and the Nasdaq, and the Dow. I mean, all right. So taking the previous day high for ETH. So, like I was saying here, right, this would have been a good short, but this was like a scalp, right? Could it have gone a little lower? Sure. But let's see even what it was. Probably not worth it in a day like today. That's still not a bad trade, actually. But previous day high, right? Once we came back and closed back below, TP would have been previous day value rate high, stop loss right at break even to protect you literally from this exact thing. Otherwise, you would have tried to take it down to the daily open, which was also your VWAP, previous day point of control, and then maybe leave a little skin on the table to go down to the val. But at this point, you would have done that. It would have been entry, take profit, stop back out, small win. Now we wait, right? If we were looking for that small short-term short. But for me, the move at hand was definitely a little bit more of a swing, right? Which was take the previous week low, reclaim. That was your entry. Actually, almost got another chance at it here. Daily open today, VWAP, and then looking to run it back to these regions above, right? So got some nice take profit areas right at the previous week val. Week open's got to be one. Point of control. All right, we're talking 2% to the value area low, 2.5 up to the point of control. Rotate that range is 3.5%, and then at that point it's running up the previous week high. Now let's see if we can get some moves out of here. Once again, I'm not looking at any news. Doesn't matter. Didn't change the analysis. I literally don't know what's been said. Doesn't matter. Wish you could hear the music on. I mean, it's not great music, anyways, but on YouTube, this has got to be super boring. Coinbank trades off of liquidation and heat map. Sounds good. Whatever works for you. Can you guys see the screen okay on TikTok? I'm just making sure it looks straight. Took 12,000 profit. Nice. Short 100 ETH 2020. Damn, took the high again. Oh. Bart. Let's see how Doge is doing. Take a look at CHR and a couple others. So Doge, and I'm going to zoom it out a little bit right to the 4-hour time frame. So this range that we're looking at, right? You can see it obviously really clear on YouTube. This is the one here for everybody on TikTok. We had a very similar situation last year. I think it was October when we actually re-entered it. But yeah, so we're looking for re-entry into this range. Natural target, point of control, obviously. We've got our EQ in the range coming up here at almost 9 cents. And then essentially I'm looking to run this up. And this, once again, this is more of a, not even more of, this is definitely a spot trade, right? This is not, personally, I don't do any leverage with anything but Ethereum and Bitcoin. That's just me, obviously. You know, if you go for that, go for it. In my experience, it's just been really not ideal for putting in a decent. They just move so vastly. It's just like stop losses are just almost impossible to utilize. So, yeah, just from back in the range, you're looking at a potential 40% push, right? It's a really, really good week or month, depending on if we can see that. Even right now, just from the value low, pushed up about 13%. If you found some entry at lower areas, obviously been in a little bit more of an upside. And then for me, I'm looking to take it potentially up to that yearly pivot, 52% move almost. And we had a very similar situation. Just to eat up some time here, and we'll go back to Bitcoin and take a look at what it's doing. Very similar situation back here. And TikTok, you're getting the poor version of this, sorry. Let me go ahead and highlight this. All right, so range was here, right? Broke back in, reclaim. This is on a 4-hour time frame, but on a 15-minute, we had a really nice reclaim here. We were targeting back up to point of control was the main target. We also had an untapped weekly level up here. And this was also a harmonic pattern, right, that played out as well, giving us a target all the way back down to the B leg. Obviously, it went surpassed that, but for the trade itself, it was really nice. And just from the range low, not catching the exact lows, right? This was a 70% move, 92% in total to the weekly, but just to catch the middle of it, right? 70% was a really good month. And then we actually did short this there was a weekly level right here, like 14.8. Shorted back down to this region, right? Which was also the gold pocket, if I recall, which it was. So, and then it's just been sideways ever since. So, oh, and just to throw out new stuff again too, right? So this was target didn't change, didn't just blow through it and continue on. This was a well sought after well prepared for, region that we were looking for. We were positioned for a couple weeks or months, depending on when or how you got into it, or you waited for the range to get reclaimed, due to alerts. And this was when Elon took over Twitter, right? So everybody got super excited. How many people do you think bought right here, all in this mess? And then actually right after that was the FTX collapse, which was also just, once again, very technical to the downside. So I bring that up because looking at some of the areas just above us, could it push a little higher? Yeah, we got the point of control of that overall range just above us too. But a potential 30% move up to that year pivot, where we are now, 40%. I'm sorry. You got to imagine that the news is always going to be great with moves like that. It's probably going to be something along the line of speculation around Doge being the currency of Twitter or X or whatever. But just like XRP, right? The largest news catalyst in literally all of crypto. And it didn't change the targets one bit, right? Didn't even break $1. Magic in the group, he nailed this with literally precision from a huge harmonic that he had. I have a video on my channel of him on Debate Crypto. It's like 5 or 6 videos ago on my TikTok channel. Obviously, it's on his channel on YouTube, Magic Internet Money. Be sure to check that out. I mean, he goes over this move, the entire move of XRP, literally all dating back to this period. Literally, he was able to notate that we were coming back down to 29 cents before revisiting. I think it was like the $2 or the $1.30 high in that region. Yeah, he crushed it. He just completely crushed it. It's all noted and documented. I'm not just making it up, but I bring that up because of the news, right? So and once again, how many people do you think piled into XRP as soon as it got relisted on Coinbase, as soon as it got relisted everywhere, or potentially just didn't sell? And not that you have to sell. I mean, this was maybe we do continue higher and you just got to pull back here. But as far as just looking at this from a trade base, literally the biggest news in all of crypto, and this is all we got, right? Was a big move though, I will say that. Coinbase says 1762 should be the low if we get a move down. That's where I'm looking. There's one daily naked point of control all the way back down to like 1640, but yeah, I'm in the camp that this is the region. So I mean, 1762 is $4 away from one of my main targets here as well. So I would imagine that this would be that next bounce area. Just as this one was, right? When we came down, this was our last. This whole move up on ETH was pretty gnarly, right? So when we were in this region, right, we were actually targeting back to here. This was not only your gold pocket, right? This was also the Q4 range value area high. Find it. Right, Q4 range value area high, right? Got the back test there, on and off we go. That's where we were targeting then. Next move up was targeting this box, which technically it hit it to the dollar. Didn't really push high enough into it. I was anticipating maybe pushing up and taking that high over here you can see on YouTube. But once again, it's not going to be perfect. It's really why you want to just kind of, as far as short-term trades, like live in the middle. Obviously, your mid to long-term holds you can treat differently. But after that high, we were looking for this region right here. Why was that? Well, my things are very unorganized right now, and I apologize. All right. You had a quarter one naked point of control. Funny enough that comes in right at the daily one as well. So that actually might be a pretty decent target again to the downside at some point. Quarterly naked point of control, right? And we had a couple things lining up there. And then we had the quarterly pivot, which is the high time frame statistical target, right? This is our average of price that we were looking to come back to. And right there, right? So 1624, right? With that quarterly NPOC, um, and obviously that's where we took off from. So that was a nice target once again. All TA, no news, and reminder of the time frame that we were in as far as the news went. Right, we came up. I don't know what the excitement was up at this point, just remembering, but we slowly started getting to the point where SEC started, claiming some of their altcoins and things like that were securities and all that stuff. Then literally, you can't even make this up. So once again, you have to be positioned for potential news, right? If you're going to go off the news, but you're going to position yourself either way. But if you're going to assume that you can trade news, you'll never be able to trade the news. And when the news comes out, it's so quick. There's no chance that you're going to be able, the XRP news. XRP was up like 30% the second that news dropped, right? If that's going to be the case, you had to have been positioned weeks ahead, days ahead. Right here, right? Even catch this initial move, yeah, you had a little bit of a pullback. But if you weren't prepared coming into this with, an area at hand. What was the news this day? Well, this was SEC. I'm sorry, this is BlackRock dropping the ETF news that they were going to, move forward with Bitcoin. And once again, super excitement, right? And it's just literally time and time again, the news is just nothing. The sell off of last year was probably obviously I know people lost money with FTX and everything, so it's not like that was just some fraudulent thing. However, that move down, the move out of it, I mean, epic, the terminal shakeout, if that was ever, to be considered for the entire market, uh, just touche, right? I mean, this was just crazy. Everybody, for the most part, that was just so uncertain in the market, sold out at the bottom. Harvesting tax losses and stuff like that was the excuse, right? And getting things off exchanges because everybody was so paranoid and afraid that everything was going to collapse, BNB was going to collapse, which meant the market was going to collapse, and then everybody would have FTX issues. So everybody pulled out their money literally at the low, sold at the low, potentially moved to ledgers, who knows, but more than likely probably put in stable coins or just got out of the market and ran just to have 100% move out of Bitcoin at least, and then all the altcoins had their certain moves as well. That news is going to make you super emotional. All right, here we come up to that. Look at that. Previous week Val met. All right, so that would have been a TP. All right, so now we're looking to see if we re-enter that range. Let's see what Bitcoin's doing. Nothing. Interesting. What are your thoughts on Doge? Still in long after Forest suggestion. When did that get mentioned? Um, I just covered Doge. I hope that answered your question. See, that was asked like 15 minutes ago, so I must have missed it. But let me know if you still have a question about it. But it's definitely a hard one to get in at the moment. But I think that we're going to probably run that range at some point here. David said, not a big move when everyone was saying it would go much higher. I'm assuming Bitcoin or the whole market or. Yeah, the market is something that you really want to have a strategy in place, right? But you really have to keep up as far as the short-term plays will go. Like if you're looking at this week, this month, next couple of months, if you're doing anything but like literally holding on to something for years and it doesn't bother you, it doesn't matter. You really do have to keep up with everything, right? And things can change. So and you have to plan your reactions essentially. So when even like right now, I'm saying literally the famous saying that everybody likes to throw out there is like, oh, it can go up, it could go down. Thanks, really appreciate it, right? So, however, like turn all this off, and what do you see? Could go up, could go down, sure, but like when you are looking for key levels, like it just without going through and starting to hover over certain days or whatever your strategy may be, maybe your pattern trading, whatever it may be. But for me, it's looking at some of these higher time frame areas, previous week low, right? Getting claimed that previous day low, the VWAP, the daily open, things of that nature. Those are all things you have to kind of update and see how the price reacts to them. And then you have to basically, make it actionable. So with your statement, I'm just going back to the not a big move because everybody anticipated much higher type thing. I get what you're saying because there was a chance. I guess there still is. According to if we can just kind of bolt out of here. I think the timing at this point. We spent a lot of time now making this trek up here. Um, I think there's a good chance that that's the high for quite a while, at least probably throughout the rest of this year. But once again, I don't know, right? Nobody knows. All you can do is take that and kind of formulate your strategy around that, right? Based on certain other things if you're analyzing it. And had we continued up, especially like weeks ago, right? Like had this little, move up right here, just continued up, start claiming some of these levels, getting back into the old ranges. Yeah, I mean, I've always been in the camp that I didn't think we'd see the gold pocket that everybody's been looking for, right? 48K. And what I mean by that is we would have front ran it like crazy, which I guess you could consider this, or you would have blown right through it, right? And I think that that's where everybody kind of was formulating, playing around for quite some time. And now here we are, right? So you kind of have to adapt and change to certain things. So for me, I will go over an idea here with you. And not to say it's going to end up, but it's just a good example. Not to say it's going to be exact, but I'm going to take a peek, make sure all my dumb things are turned off. Okay, so the NASDAQ, this was a comparison I really made like last year in June time. And sorry for anybody on YouTube, but I'm zooming this in for the TikTok, right? So really quickly. So this is a weekly time frame for the NASDAQ. And what does it look like? I mean, if I erase the word NASDAQ and wrote Bitcoin, I mean, how close, right, in the sense. You can almost consider this the 20K high, 3K low, 14K, 3K Rona dump, 65K high, 30K low, 69K high, back to basically actually this pierced below that previous high, literally the same thing we did. So consider that your 15K. And once again, I'm not throwing this out there like it's gonna got to happen, but after a big move like that, it does take some time to unravel it, and you just got this like range forever. Um, before actually coming back in through and kind of clearing through some of this, and in the same sense of time, um, this puts like the gold pocket if we're just going to overlay it. And once again, I don't know. You gotta have to update as you go. But that puts the 50K gold pocket, 48K type deal, sometime next year, um, and just this like ranging sideways action potentially for the next coming months. Granted, it's almost August. I do foresee like literally November time is a window I'm looking at specifically at the moment, and that can change, I suppose. Um, but also, it's not something overlooked at. Even if we did trend sideways for a couple more months, I mean, this could be like one of those last few times that everybody likes to say, like, oh, last time we're going to be here or there. Um, you could have some really big opportunities coming your way for these altcoins before things really get cooking, and even Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? So, if that makes sense, I kind of went on the rant. But yes, I know what you mean. Like everybody expected the 48K gold pocket, like they saw in the last cycle, so to speak. So, all right, Biddy, what are we doing here? SFP, the previous high. SFP, the previous high. Yeah, I mean, technically, I don't know which one you're looking at as far as previous day or. Look how well that was respected. I mean, that's pretty wild. To the dollar. Looking at SHIB, seems to have a breakout as well. Of course, everything depends on Bitcoin. Yeah, everything does depend on Bitcoin, sadly. Quant. We can take a look at Quant. So we'll see if we come back down to a local gold pocket action on E. With the VWAP a little bit below that. Shiba Inu. Coinbase. Okay. So The last range I was looking at a quant still pretty much appears to be holding true. I mean, yeah, this region we're at, between this like $95 and $100 area, uh, definitely an area to, you could consider putting on some risk here. I mean, once again, we're dealing with Bitcoin potentially taking a little plunge, but we get these pull-ups. This is one of those times, right, where you have potential for Bitcoin to, push up, make a higher low, lower high. So, and you have a lot of altcoins kind of sitting at some supports. Quant, this is not the worst spot to consider putting on some risk here, right? So, little local gold pocket even. Just from the recent swing, I mean, that's like a 40% move back to just a traditional lower high retrace. And right, and yeah, I mean, this wouldn't be a terrible place to consider looking at a position on quant. And once again, you have your choice of targets along the way here too. So 122, 124, 140. Let's zoom it out a little bit. Let's take a look at the quarterlies. All right, ETH just came back to the gold pocket. We'll come back to that. Yeah, I mean, one thing to note is things start really melting. Like $55 would be a really big window at a quant, but far away from that at the moment. Yeah, just looking at this region right here, you got, like I said, that point of control, quarterly level, yearly pivot. That's definitely a target to the upside. And then you've also got, like I said, the gold pocket just above that. So when considering potential for like short-term and sideways action out of the market over the next few months, these would be two areas to consider taking profits. And then at that point, let's see if we run it up to like 166. But I imagine we'd see yet again another pullback at some point. It might just range in this window of time for quite a while. There's a bigger move here as well. And that gold pocket comes in like 180. So we're getting the drop. Biddy must be dropping on us. Back to the WAP. Bitcoin back to day open. Good shout, Mr. Alato. SFP its previous high. Back down. Right. CHR. It's a pretty nice range above it here. This once again more like a mid to long term move here. I highlight this falling wedge as well, which is pretty sloppy, honestly. But if you were going to make one, I guess it could be there. Measured move of that takes you up to this gold pocket region, untapped weekly level. It's like all the way up to like 19 cents. So that'd be a that'd be a pretty nice target. If we reach that to take some profits on the way up if we get there. For this, really though, I mean, like we've got this daily level I'd really like to see reclaimed, and then from there it's getting back in the range, and then just from the low, and let's just say you rotate that range, it's like 33%, potentially 50 if you reach that gold pocket. So once again, not necessarily a leverage move, but spot wise could be a decent opportunity. Give me ETH nuke. I'm waiting for it, man. It's definitely the next fresh entry zone. All right, bounce off daily open. Back to the WAP. Blew through the gold pocket. See what Bitcoin's doing. Chilling back at the daily open. Back below the previous week low. Spent a lot of time down here. Oh, SHIB. That was the other one, right? Take a look at the old SHIB. Been a hot minute since we looked at SHIBA. All right. Just gonna take it all off. Let's just build it out. Yearly pivot all the way up there. That'd be a wild sight to see this year. Okay, right now this is gonna have a wild range above us. Shiba might actually have a good. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, shit looks. Let's dress this up here for everybody. Obviously, you'd have to reclaim some ground here. Pretty low. Got some confluence at the range high. Change that color. John McCray. John McCray. Ooh. All right, let's see here. We'll throw a little GP in there. And let's take a look for some goodies. Okay. I can see that one tapped, but whatever. Muddied up too much. Oh. All righty. Here's how I look at Shiba. So we're living outside the old range, right? This is on a daily time frame. So you can see that we're really getting mollywopped, right, on the way in here. Just wicks, wicks, wicks. So you really like to see, God, I don't know how many zeros that is. Let me go ahead and put an alert. Million zeros and then 803 claimed, right, on ideally a daily basis here, right? One of these little tricks. From there, untapped weekly level becomes a nice target here. You got a gold pocket, EQ the range. More than likely, we'd rotate this whole range all the way up. Quarterly high comes in right at the range high. Untapped weekly as well. Naked point of control. Really nice slew of targets here. The only issue I see, is that at the moment kind of have to be geared towards seeing some of these levels here. So it's really important that it's one of those times where you kind of have to wait, and that's where a lot of people get in trouble because you jump the gun and they don't wait, right? So untapped daily, and technically there's another untapped daily down here with the gold pocket. So and then potentially you can come down and actually sweep the previous quarter low. Would be something of not concerned, but that would probably be the move. But that's just shits and gigs. It'd be like a 30% plunge. Always possible, right? So yeah, gold pocket daily would be the entries. Otherwise, it's get back into the range, hold that, right? And then from there, we look to see if we can run it up. And once again, wait for patience, just like that Doge trade that potentially is underway. And then I have to imagine if Doge is going to run this one, well, everything will run if Doge is running, right? Have to anticipate the whole market's probably pulling up. But same as Doge, right? 50% move. If we run through them all. So, and like I said, you're littered with targets throughout. And you could obviously be patient and just kind of wait with your whole spot in that position. Anticipate getting pullbacks along the way. However, right, like even if you run it up to this gold pocket, for example, and then from that low to high, on the risk of coming all the way back down to this daily, even then. So that would be how I play it, right? Kind of wait to see if we come down to these regions. Ideally, this one, and potentially even this one, or get back in the range, which I would imagine that's probably more somewhat likely. But if Bitcoin and Ethereum nuke down to Coinbank's numbers there, and we're probably heading down those lows. OC, what are you saying thank you for, my friend? We can look at H bar. All right, we do the dance again. Daily open, UOP. Back at the previous week low for Bitcoin. Note how the daily open has been regarded as support for all this. Losing that daily open is not going to look good. Sorry. Try to keep a little logo on here so everybody can tell where we're at. A little talk. Oh, that's why. On old ETH chart. All right. Go, Jerome Powell. I was hoping we'd have some more fireworks during this whole hour, but had some short-term moves. All right. Well, much as I'd love to sit here and watch this range anymore, probably gonna go ahead and close it up for the day. I hope you all enjoyed kind of hanging out for a bit. Thought there'd be a little bit more excitement. I'm sure we'll get some in the coming hours and days. We do have our members only market update tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern in the leading crypto Discord server where myself, Magic Internet Money, and potentially Max might be still on holiday over in London. If you'd like access to that, the link is in my bio and description on YouTube. Otherwise, have a great afternoon, everybody, and we can see you all the next time. For the question on how high do I think ETH can go, I'm looking for this potential. Really wouldn't overlook this region, and it would depend on how Bitcoin, and it's not too far ahead of us, obviously, but weekly open in the point of control at 1887, 1892. I'm looking to see if we punch up to this gold pocket, 1955, 1961. And then if we get the nice rejection from there, start living back within the previous week high, looking down to potential region for that next decent bounce. Yeah, and it's really not that much of a move, honestly. This is like 5 or 6%. Even from the low, it's like 6%, which is funny. We're in the world again where like 5% moves are like clinging on to hope. Because yeah, these moves have been just dry, 2.5%. Even this like last one, 2-3%. Yeah. So looking for that, and then we do have the year pivot and this untapped daily, and these three regions would be what I'd be looking for the next rejection. Things change if the yearly pivot up here, 1988, is claimed and start living above. I just don't see that happening right now. So, yep, say that 1955, 1961, and then looking to take it back into all this if we get there. The same thing can kind of go even here, right? So say, none of that occurs, we don't push higher, start to lose daily open, especially on Bitcoin and Ethereum in this previous week low. I would say we're probably heading down to these levels. All right. Thank you all so much. Have a great afternoon. Yeah. I was like, Mom, take it easy, everybody.